It's your boy Crypto Blood. Playoffs? What's going on? Good morning. Hope everything is going good for you this morning. Time to get up and get started. Today we're talking about a couple things. One being some new developments out of the EOS community. Dan Larimer and his project. Really good things going on over there, EOS, I believe. They really have, to me, the correct blueprint for how blockchain 2.0 is going to look and evolve into. So we're going to look at that. We're going to also take a look, before we even jump into that, we're going to take a look at the charts really quickly and give you some updates on how I feel the retracement is going to go now for Bitcoin. And then last, we're going to talk a little bit about the CME and futures and that whole thing. I put a video up yesterday, a double spin video that talked about out of CNBC, I believe, and they talked about the whole CME futures thing and how the contracts are going to be set up. I used to trade futures primarily primarily FX futures and spot as well, FX spot. So hopefully I can break it down in layman's terms for you guys and give you what the ramifications are, in my opinion, about the CME coming into the space. I did a video about it a while ago, about 2-3 months ago, but a lot of people have been asking me about that, and I dropped them the link to that video, but I might as well talk about it again since it's new. It's come up again in the news. So first, let's take a look at that chart, people. I'm doing this video the night before. You'll see this tomorrow, so I'm not sure where we'll be tomorrow. However, because I'm seeing, so in trading, let me just explain this. In trading, it's a good trader, a trader who's been doing this for a long time, understands time intervals, and when things move, like if something moves too fast, then that means the pattern for that wave is going to change. The depth or slope of that wave is going to change somewhat. I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly, but whenever I see, because if we look at this chart here, the candle from today, but it will be yesterday for you guys, it went down fairly quickly. In one day we kind of covered a lot of pricing here, right? So instead of like tomorrow, I don't think tomorrow, even if tomorrow we hit this, what's this line here, about 6,000, or I'm sorry, 6,600. Even if we hit that line tomorrow, I think that's too quick of a move to say we're going to go back up from there. I think we're going to, at this point, because of the move down, I think the next few days we're probably going to dip a little bit below the 68 or 6600 area. I think we may hit near 6,000, guys. 6,100, around there, somewhere around there, like 61. Yeah, I say about 61. Again, I agree with Sean from SGT Reports. The best thing to do, because most of you, I know I'm doing these videos for people who think they're traders, and about 99% of y'all ain't, but I'm doing the videos so that at least you have a guide, and hopefully it will help you. I'm not saying I'm going to be 100% right, but as a trader, you want to take multiple sources and kind of contrive or create your own plan, your own trading plan. So that's why I'm doing it. But I suggest for 99% of you to just hold. And at the dips, just buy more. Instead of trying to sell at highs, buy back at lows. Just buy more as the dips come in. That would be my suggestion for someone, really. Because even the best traders, like, I don't follow anyone else trading videos and stuff. Try to keep my mind clear of anyone else's suggestions or you know, how they view things. I try to keep my mind like have virgin eyes when I'm looking at a chart. So no external influences. It's just me in the chart and me doing analysis on it. So I would probably, I've never asked another professional trader if they look at other traders' analysis and stuff, but I would probably venture to say they don't. So I think we're going to probably see a touch of 61, 6,200 range possibly in the next, by the end of this week, maybe. We'll see. Again, that's absent any fundamental news. But so that kind of gets that out the way. The second thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was EOS. And so some major news came out, and I have to give credit to Google. He's one of the guys in the Webbot rooms. He dropped this video in there, I believe yesterday or a couple days ago. He dropped this video in there of Dan Lemner, can't talk, Dan Lamner, I don't know what conference he was at, but he talked about this new project that EOS is developing, and it's called EOS Storage. And basically it's a smart contract platform design is for decentralized storage. And really that's the nugget. So if any of you don't know what EOS is, it's a smart contract platform designed for parallel executions to scale. And so parallel executions allows multiple threads to go back and forth, communicate back and forth. And this will allow for millions of transactions a second. It just dwarfs anything we've seen today. And this is what I mean by like blockchain 2.0. Like, I think Dan Lermer is really working on the next wave of blockchain. He's not the only one. There are other projects out there, but I really like what he's done because he has a successful track record with Steemit. You know, I'm on Steemit with BitShares, a decentralized exchange. But yeah, man, I think, you know, this EOS storage is going to be crazy. Like, he's changing the game. So essentially, with the decentralized storage, EOS storage is what they call it. It's essentially going to replace hosting, and file sharing is all going to be decentralized. So you'll no longer pay for, like, it's going to take the hosting industry out. It's going to just take them out, because now you have a resilient network of nodes of, you know, where your files are hosted, and so downtime is almost going to never happen. I would suspect. So really cool, because now there's no fees for storage or bandwidth. So that's just, can you imagine no like free hosting and it being up almost 100% of the time? Because with EOS, you know, so how that will work, how the storage will work is that you would have to lock tokens up in a contract to have that allocated space on the blockchain for whatever. If you got a web page or some type of app or DApp that you're running, you have to lock a certain amount of tokens up into that contract for that to run. And then once you're done with that site or whatever application, you can get your coin. Once you get your coins back, then that application is no longer available. So that's pretty great. And I will say, I did a video about DTube and how they're using IPFS to store. DTube is an app on top of Steemit where the guy was trying to create he is creating or has created a decentralized YouTube. But with that system, it's using strictly IPFS. It may be kind of over the head of some of you guys who aren't technical, but go look up what IPFS is. It's kind of a decentralized file sharing architecture. But at any rate, EOS is integrating some of that architecture. However, it's improving on it because now, instead of having, like with IPFS, you have like a hash. You have a hash, a long hash URL essentially, and then the file name. Well, with this, you'll be able to have a readable URL path for your files, web pages, and applications. So that way, it's almost like the contract that processes this is a pointer, and it'll point to the proper file instead of having that direct hash URL like IPFS does. So man, it really is like IPFS on steroids, to be honest with you guys. And it's trying to change the game, man, once they get this thing rolling out. EOS has released their dev kind of toolkit sandbox thing you can play around with, I think it's called Dawn, and it's available now. I'm gonna start looking at it and start playing around with it because I want to get ahead of the curve and start to understand the EOS ecosystem. And man, it's gonna be dope, people. So I am buying more EOS for sure. I believed in the project when it came out. I really just had a gut feeling and thought this was gonna be a good one. It's gonna be like Ethereum, I should say. When ETH is at under $1, and now look at it, it's at 300. So I really see EOS being, I don't know, like $500-600, $1,000 in the next 2-3 years once they really start to integrate and get some major applications rolling out. So we'll see. Last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, how much time are we? I'm rambling on, so I don't even know where my time is. However, last thing is the CME and futures. A lot of people were asking, CB, what do you feel will happen now that we have the CME getting into Bitcoin and creating futures? Short term, excellent for pricing. This is going to help us accelerate our, liquidity is going to just pour in. And what's going to happen is really going to push cryptocurrency prices, Bitcoin in particular, higher very fast, in my opinion. I told you guys before, we're at around 200 billion in market cap. That is nothing to those guys over on Wall Street and FX market, futures market. Again, I'll reiterate, the FX market trades over $7 trillion a day. The entire cryptocurrency market cap is 200 billion. We will see an acceleration up to in the trillions for market cap in cryptocurrencies very soon, next year, as the CME rolls out and integrates these futures. Now, I did for somewhere, I don't know where, or I read this or I heard this. I know that Clif thinks that the futures will not affect Bitcoin in a negative manner. I think it will, not near term, but in the long term, I think it sets the environment up for manipulation. So I can see in 5-6 years, Bitcoin's, let's say Bitcoin in 5-6 years is at 150,000 a share, or a token, I should say, a coin. Well, it'll be at $150,000 a coin with manipulation, when it really should be at 600,000 a coin, or $1 million a coin. So you kind of get where I'm going with it. Like, the more they get involved in it, the more you'll see manipulation to the upside and downside. It will smooth out. It will smooth out volatility. Futures always help smooth out volatility, and futures also will you'll be able to short more readily, short Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So it will smooth out volatility for sure. I definitely believe that. I just feel like in the long run, it's going to hinder the price of Bitcoin from its true organic pricing. So we shall see. We shall see. And another thing, a person asked me, well, what about decentralized exchanges? So decentralized exchanges will be great. However, just market psychology, I still believe decentralized exchanges will end up following whatever the futures price of Bitcoin is. So wherever the biggest pool of liquidity is will be the determining factor of price, in my opinion. So even though we'll have decentralized exchanges, what will end up happening is people will start to come down and very close to where the futures are, futures contract prices are for Bitcoin, and it won't matter where spot price of Bitcoin is. And spot means, in FX, spot is like cash market, so it's like direct. It's no futures involved. So the spot price on a decentralized exchange will probably be actually lower 9 times out of 10. The futures prices are going to be there's going to be a premium on the futures prices, so your spot is going to be a little bit lower than where futures prices are for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies and assets. So we will see, people. That's just my 2 Satoshis on the subject. Make sure you definitely go look at EOS a little bit closer. Read the white paper. It tells you exactly what happens at the end of the ICO next year, and how those tokens, those ERC20 tokens, translate over into EOS tokens or shares within their blockchain and system. So there's been a lot of FUD around that, and it explains it in there in detail. So that's pretty much it for today, ladies and gents. Make sure you like and subscribe, and definitely leave your feedback in this video. I love talking to you guys. I love answering questions. I love getting questions from you guys. So make sure you do that. Also, check me out in the Webbot room. I'll leave a link of that in the description of this video too. That's pretty much it. It's your boy Crypto Blood. I'm out. Holla.